Today on the CTV News at 5, remembering a beloved fire captain. The firefighting community mourns the loss of one of their own. Plus, a missing Lethbridge woman is found. And another warning of the impact provincial budget cuts could have to post-secondary schools and the community.
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Firefighters from Lethbridge and other communities will pause tomorrow to pay tribute to a beloved colleague who died on Sunday. Fire Captain John Enander died of cancer, an illness related to his job as a firefighter. A funeral service scheduled for tomorrow will include a procession of emergency vehicles and a last alarm ceremony. Terry Vogt reports.
Flags at fire stations throughout the city have been lowered as a tribute to Captain John Enander, a 33-year veteran of the Lethbridge Fire Department. He died Sunday at the age of 62, about 6 months after being diagnosed with cancer.
Dedicated, great, just a great co-worker.
Captain Dennis Golovich says he joined the Lethbridge Fire Department on the same day, but John was older and often shared his life experiences with the younger firefighters.
Didn't want to be the center of attention, but he easily became it because of his stories and his fun that he would have around the fire hall.
We certainly lifted the spirits of the guys at the station all the time.
Co-workers say Enander had a sense of humor that was second to none, but he took his job seriously. He was considered an Iron Man.
We probably never missed a day for the first 25 years he was on the job.
But the job took a toll due to occupational exposure to smoke, chemicals, exhaust. Firefighters have a 100% higher risk of developing some forms of cancer. Platoon Chief Ken Mercer has been fighting fires for nearly 40 years.
We could see the smoke. We knew we weren't supposed to breathe that, but there's a lot of other things out there all the time that hurt us.
It is like losing a brother.
Firefighters often refer to each other as being part of a brotherhood. Tomorrow morning, they'll have a short parade and funeral procession to remember one of their brothers, who they say always came to work with a smile on his face and who always cared for others before himself. The firefighters' procession will start at the Legion on Mayor McGrath Drive tomorrow morning. It will also stop here at the No. 3 Fire Hall, where they'll have a special ceremony. Firefighters say it'll be a fine tribute to a fine guy. Terry Vogt, CTV News, Lethbridge.
The procession will start at 10:30 and will go, as Terry mentioned, from the Legion then to the Coast Hotel, where the funeral service will be held. Well, more than 1,200 people will take to Henderson Lake Park tomorrow in support of those who have lost their lives in the workplace over the past year. Organizers say registration for the Steps for Life Walk has more than doubled this year. 2 workers in Lethbridge lost their lives in workplace-related deaths in 2012. Most recently, Curtis Dodd, who was killed when a refrigeration unit fell on him during construction of the new University of Lethbridge residence building. The walk is aimed at raising money and awareness about the importance of workplace safety.
We want everyone to know and understand that it isn't acceptable to be hurt at work. It is a cost of doing business to factor safety into your everyday work experience. It's not an add-on if we have time. It's not a we'll do it if the government comes and makes us do that. It has to become a cost of doing business every day.
Organizers say they have already surpassed their fundraising goal of $30,000. She'd been missing for over 24 hours, but last night she was reunited with her friends and family. Anna Rose Klutrichuk went missing around midnight on Tuesday. Searchers found her last night walking near Bull Trail Park just off University Drive, north of Whoop-Up Drive. Officers say she appears to be in good health. The 44-year-old had no history of disappearing, and also adding to her family's worry that she needed daily medication. Police are crediting the hard work of a number of organizations who helped in the search efforts in her safe return, including 3 search and rescue organizations, canine search groups, and aerial checks. A trial has been set for a 31-year-old man accused of procuring the sexual services and assaulting a 13-year-old girl. Police say the man offered the girl a ride home. She accepted, And then he drove to an undisclosed location where the man sexually assaulted the girl. Casey Lane Sweetgrass entered a not guilty plea in court and will stand trial on October the 28th. Meanwhile, a preliminary hearing has been set for a 20-year-old Vulcan man accused of attempted kidnapping after a young boy in that community told police that he'd been approached by a man and then chased by a man in a pickup. Andrew James Gregory faces charges of sexual assault for alleged relationships that he had with several girls under the age of 16. The preliminary hearing is scheduled for October the 9th in Lethbridge. He is currently living in Calgary under a curfew. And the Blood Tribe Police are asking for your help in tracking down a 30-year-old man wanted on a Canada-wide arrest warrant. This is Jonathan Travis Holy Whiteman. Officers say he has strong ties to the Blood Reserve and Lethbridge. He's a native male, about 5'10", roughly 230 pounds. He's got long black hair and brown eyes. Officers say he also wears prescription glasses. If you have any information that could help police, please contact the Blood Tribe Police or Crime Stoppers. If you like the forecast that Dory has for this weekend, you are going to love what's in store next week even more.
Yeah, we're really going to get into a nice spell next week, Jackie, with temperatures in the low to mid-20s in many areas of southern Alberta and southeastern BC. So stay tuned. More of those pleasant details are coming up.
Thank you, Dory. Well, the Fernie garbage dump was under lockdown this morning after dynamite was found at the facility. The transfer station was evacuated as a safety precaution, and RCMP began investigating. Officers found 6 sticks of dynamite with a detonation device on the floor of the transfer station. The building remains closed until further notice. Officials say the main priority was the safety of staff and the public, as well as emergency responders.
At this point, we can't speculate on, who left it or why it was left there. We have procedures and policies in place that basically, if we notice a potential hazard, that we follow. And certainly our staff did an excellent job this morning of being very quick, and I commend their action at the transfer station when they noticed something that did appear to potentially be explosive in nature. They took all of the right steps to protect themselves and the public that are visiting our facility. And at this point, we're just going to have to wait and see what the RCMP investigation turns up.
The Fernie transfer station opened last July along Highway 3, and it is the town's recycling depot as well. Calgary police aren't taking any chances with another suspicious package in that town. It was the 3rd bomb scare in a week. A backpack was found abandoned early this morning under an outdoor stairwell at Old City Hall. Once again, police responded in force, shutting down the area. That's because today's find comes just 2 days after a fake bomb shut down the Court Centre and parts of downtown Calgary. Last Friday, a suspicious letter was delivered to the prosecutor's office. Meanwhile, Winnipeg police were on standby for about 3 hours this morning after a backpack there was found unattended at a shopping centre. The bomb disposal unit figured out that it wasn't dangerous. And in Edmonton, police were called to an alley in the south part of the city there to deal with something suspicious. The bomb unit was also brought in. No changes in Unit 4C at Chinook Regional Hospital. A wing of the facility continues to be under quarantine after an outbreak of a bowel infection. There are 12 confirmed cases of C. difficile on that unit. It's been closed since Wednesday of last week. C. diff is an infection normally found in the bowel that happens when bacteria grows significant numbers and produces toxins that can cause inflammation and diarrhea. Health officials say there are 2 reasons for isolating the wing. One, to provide priority care, and the other is to prevent the infection from spreading. Alberta NDP leader Brian Mason says students in Lethbridge will most definitely feel the impact of provincial budget cuts to post-secondary institutions. Mason was at the University of Lethbridge this afternoon talking to students and faculty about the impact of the cuts. He says despite a freeze on tuition prices, students will pay a major price when it comes to their education. Among those Mason spoke to was a student named Rutika Gadgi, who says the U of L has canceled some of the courses that she needs to finish her social sciences degree next year.
I'm definitely angry because I don't understand why they have to do such budget cuts. I thought education would be something that a country would want to encourage because they would want people to be, smart and be able to go into careers that require more education.
And I think the impact is going to be felt by everyone in Lethbridge, but particularly by students who are going to be paying a lot more and getting a lot less for it.
Construction season at the University of Lethbridge has also been scaled back due to those budget cuts. The second half of the parking lot rehabilitation project is on hold. It's aimed at helping with stormwater retention. 3 other improvement projects at the Neuroscience Building, University Hall, and the Center for the Arts are also postponed. The university says only projects with funding received under the Infrastructure Maintenance Program or other restricted capital grants will move ahead as scheduled. And a Toronto fashion designer, as well as a Lethbridge College alum, says the suspension of the school's fashion design program will have a profound impact on the fashion industry. Earlier this week, the Lethbridge College announced they would be dropping the program due to provincial budget cuts. Caitlin Power contributes much of her success in the industry to her start at the college. She says the decision to drop the 2-year diploma program is a bad idea and was both sad and disappointed to learn it had been suspended.
It's going to really affect the Canadian fashion industry as a whole. You'll see that, I mean, if this program gets cut or even just minimizes to a certificate program, that there's going to be a lot of graduates that are never going to show at Toronto Fashion Week or Montreal Fashion Week and never going to be able to live out those dreams that they've had.
Officials at Lethbridge College say they are working with students and other colleges to arrange for a transfer credit. A Vancouver counselor, author, and motivational speaker is cycling across Canada this spring to write a book and to promote an upcoming journey that he hopes will result in positive change for some troubled teens. Derek Shirley is stopping at police stations and high schools in search of teenagers who are doing exceptional things. He'll select the best stories for his next book to be called The Big Book of Wow. But he's also making connections for another ambitious project, a tandem bike ride that will involve pairing a police officer with a youth at risk.
This time I'm riding across Canada by myself, solo, and I have ride support here and there, it's the Making Wow Tour. But this is to pave the way for next year, tandem bike ride for youth at risk, and that's with the youth at risk and a police officer on a tandem bicycle in a provincial relay across the country.
Yeah, our youth are looking, I think, all the time for different directions, as Derek has said. They can follow a bad path or they can follow a good path. And so when they have positive role models in their life, it helps them to make the right decisions.
Shirley cycled into Lethbridge earlier this week and has now traveled on through to Medicine Hat. He hopes to complete his journey in St. John's, Newfoundland on Canada Day. Now on to the market, where the stocks are soaring on both the Toronto and New York markets following an upbeat employment report in the U.S. Unemployment hit a 4-year low at 7.5%. Dow Jones Industrial Average soared, passing the 15,000 mark for the first time, while the TSX was ahead more than 150 points in morning trading.